shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN. It's a new year, but it's feeling harder than ever to find and hire qualified people you need, especially for small businesses. That's where LinkedIn Job comes in. They make it easier to find people you want to talk to faster and for free. You can create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of the most qualified people. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering qualified hires versus leading competitors. I have to tell you that we have used LinkedIn Jobs to even find some of the people that we have here at Safety FM. LinkedIn Jobs can help you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your jobs for free on linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to tell them that you heard it right here on Safety FM.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, here we go. So let's see. A lot of people saying that there's some issues apparently on the video side of the world. Hey, listen, I'm just going to tell you. I don't know what's going on. I can tell you what happens on the radio side because it's radio and that's what we play. And then the other stuff is kind of secondary. I apologize for saying that out loud, but yeah, it's the truth. Anyways, let's take a look. What is it? 20 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out. Yes, 20 minutes past the top of the hour, just in case if you're wondering. So 20 minutes past, so let's start talking right away. Merely days after Vladimir Putin declared an annexed land in the Ukraine as part of the Russia Ukrainian counteroffensive regained control of Lyman, which had been a centralized point for Russian forces to disperse across the front lines. Just as Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky announced the city had been cleared fully of Russian forces, Russia's defense ministry acknowledged the retreat, noting that they were withdrawing to fortify their existing defensive position. So there you go. It always seems that it comes down to how you swing it. In regards of what is going on. That's just kind of the way that it goes, I guess, from time to time as we are talking. Just one of those lovely things, I guess, to think about as we are hanging and banging and doing all the fun stuff there. Anyways, as we continue talking, NASA has confirmed that the winds and rain from Hurricane Ian did not damage the Artemis rocket, though the storm did scuttle out of the launch window of October. There's now looking to launch between November the 12th and the 27th as part of the staff that has time to take care of any home damage caused by the storm. Meanwhile, space travel startup Firefly launched an unnamed rocket into orbit on Friday. Last year, the malfunction during the blastoff forced the company to detonate the rocket under orders of the U.S. Space Force in order to avoid destruction and casualties on the ground. The launch all went to plan, though. So there you go. This one did. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing to talk about as we are talking. Anyways, Gen Z has managed to make Facebook uncooler than ever, and that might be, just take that down Google next. As reported, Wired, nearly 40% of the 18 to 24-year-old turned to TikTok and Instagram to find a good spot for lunch instead of searching Google or using the Maps program. But Google isn't going down without a fight. They've tweaked such display to show that their images and videos in search results and give similar endless scrolling experience like feeds on Instagram and TikTok. I mean, I'll tell you, there's all kinds of shit going on when it comes to that social media world, depending on what you're taking a look at. But with that being said, I want to reference this because I always think that it's kind of interesting. If you take a look at some of the stuff that does happen when it comes to this whole world of social, it's amazing the amount of people that are trying to copy some of the stuff that TikTok's doing. And listen, if you read the terms of condition of TikTok, you're kind of crazy for letting it stay on your phone, or your device, just taking a look at it. But look at YouTube Shorts. Look at Instagram Stories. Take a look at all these other things that are occurring now just because of what TikTok has managed to accomplish in such a short period of time. So there you go. Anyways, a Michigan man now officially owns the world's tallest living domestic cat. The Savannah cat, named a Fenrir, measures 18.83 inches from its withered cat's shoulder basically to the pads of its hind legs and standing upright. But it's not the first world record of the owner, Will Powers. Let's see, his Maine Coon has the record of the longest tail, not the tallest, from tip to base. The living cat has a 16.07 inches. Previously, Powers owned all of the tallest cats and all the cats of the longest tail, but one of them died back in 2017. I mean, is that really something you want to be known for? I have the record of owning the longest cat. I mean, I guess everybody has to do their own gig, but man, that's a different approach for a different world if we're kind of taking a look at it from that particular standpoint. So there you go. Anyways, what else do we have going on here? Let's take a look around to some other things. Remember NFTs, the non-fungible token that's sort of the granted buyers ownership of a digital asset like a Bored Ape drawing, but not really. Well, in January, people traded nearly $17 billion worth of NFTs across the globe. In September, it was just $466 million, a 95% decrease. An NFT marketplace called OpenSea believed that the internet biggest platform for trading them saw a 99% decrease in transactions between May and August. But wait, if you're holding on to an NFT, there's still some hope of the cash out. Last month, the NFT that pixelated drawing fetched about $4.5 million. So $4.5 million. Now, I will tell you, the array of stuff that people were doing when NFTs first came out is still amazing to me. It's still amazing when you start taking a look and go, okay, the NFTs that I'm going to take a look at are related to how much money I'm going to have relatively quick, which I still kind of find interesting. And a lot of people did some interesting stuff to get that rolling. So I just find it kind of odd. Anyways, if we're talking numbers, there's only one guy that I know that really knows numbers. So let's go ahead and bring him here and hear some John Small to let him know what's going on with the market beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, October 3rd, 2022. The S&P 500 moved down to set a new low last week, confirming a near-term downtrend within a larger long-term market reversal. The move was driven by the rising fear of inflation, the FOMC, and earnings power for S&P 500 companies in the face of slowing economic activity. The data is still iffy on the recession front, but much of it speaks of peaking within the U.S. economy, and peaking could lead to contraction if the Fed acts too hastily. The biggest risk for the market is inflation. The PCE price index not only showed acceleration from the previous month, which was expected, but it came in hotter than expected and points to another aggressive move from the FOMC. As it is, the market is pricing in a solid chance for another 75 basis point rate hike in early November, and a near certainty rates will raise another 150 basis points by the end of the year. You could get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thanks, John Small, for that one, letting us know exactly what is going on inside of the world when it comes to, well, finance, because that's always important. So take a listen to this. The Dow was down about 500 points on Friday to close at 28,725. Year to date, it's down 21%. The S&P lost about 54 points and to close at 3,585. Year to date, it's down about 25%. The NASDAQ lost about 161 points to close at 10,575, and it's about down about 33%. So far year to date. So there you go. Also, West Texas Intermediate closed under $80 on Friday at 79.49. And Brent crude closed at $85. The national average price of a gallon of gas is $3.79. Now, I think that's interesting because right next to where I live, it is $3.12, which I actually thought the 7 was broken on there. I was like, there's no way that it's $3.12, but that's what it was. Anyways, the Bitcoin slid about on Sunday to get up just over $19,000. And let's see, there was about 1,937 flight delays within, into, and out of the United States. On Sunday, there's about 432 such cancellations. So a lot of stuff going on inside of there. So what do you think? Because it makes it kind of an interesting time when we start taking a look at this. So did you do anything this weekend? Did you go to the box office? Did you go take a look at what was going on with Money Matters? Because if you did, I got some stuff for you. I got some stuff to share. And looked at the box office. This is how it was going. At number 10 was Top Gun Maverick with $1.2 million. And number 9 was DC Leagues of Super Pets with $1.3 million. And number 8 was Bullet Train. Yeah, I said Bullet Train with $1.4 million. And number 7 was Barbarian with $2.8 million. Let's see. Number 6 was Selvin with $4 million. Number 5, Avatar, re-release, $4.6 million. Bros made $4.8 million at the number 4 spot. And number 3 was The Woman King with $6.9 million. And number 2, Don't Worry, Darling, slid from the number 1 spot to $7.3 million with that one. And at the number 1 spot in the box office with $22 million. Yes, $22 million. It was Smile. Let's put a smile on that face. So there you go. That was the number 1 movie inside of the box office. So a lot of stuff going on inside of our little worldy as we are talking. So we got some news stories still. It is currently 29 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's talk real quick because this has been a subject matter, at least in Florida. So let's talk about it. Hurricane Ian could cost insurance companies up to $47 billion. Take a listen.
The Insurance Information Institute, only about 18% of Florida homeowners have flood insurance, most of that through the federal government.
President Biden announced a disaster declaration after a deadly hurricane left a trail of destruction across Florida when slammed into South Carolina. Financial data company CoreLogic says that insurance could be on the hook for about 28 of the $47 billion, making Ian the most expensive Florida storm hurricane since Hurricane Andrew back in 1992. Now, I have to tell you, I mean, I guess I don't have to tell you, but I would like to share with you, maybe is probably the better thing to say here, that it's going to be an interesting one on what insurance rates are going to be in Florida once this whole thing is done. Because if there's going to be that many people putting in claims, which I would imagine there's going to be kind of a record high, the insurance price had already went up in Florida because of some of the stormy storms that already occur. So I just can't imagine how much further into the hole people are going to be here with that. But we'll take a look as we are talking a little bit more about the weather. Let's talk. The search for survivors is still underway for Hurricane Ian that struck Florida last week. U.S. Coast Guard's the Atlantic Area Commander Kevin Lundy, who is overseeing the effort, says it's personal.
Remains search and rescue and helping those in need. These aren't strangers to us. We live and work in these communities.
If that dude's name would have ended up being Frank Lundy, I would have had probably some questions. Anyway, search teams have rescued more than 2,000 people so far. Over 80 storm-related deaths have been confirmed. Florida and North Carolina, with that number likely to rise. At least 50,000 electrical workers are making progress in restoring power, while FEMA says that search and rescue operations are going to being the largest ever conducted. President Biden and the First Lady will be in Florida on Wednesday to tour the areas that were ravaged by the hurricane. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says that flooding was the biggest problem for communities caused by Hurricane Ian.
From what I've seen in the state, I think most of the damage has been from water rather than wind.
So it'll be interesting to see. Why is my camera moving? It'll be interesting to see some of the stuff that comes about when it's all said and done. Also in Lee County, Sheriff Carmine Moreno says that it's all hands on deck, making things as normal as possible as soon as they can.
County commissioners, county manager, that everyone is out in full force trying to get back power to the residents, making sure they have water, making sure they have food, and the basic essentials to get through every single day.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting one over here for sure in regards of everything that is going on. There is no doubt about it. Anyways, one more before we get into the main. Pope Francis is praying for the victims of Hurricane Ian. Trey Thomas has more info.
Traditional Sunday blessing from St. Peter's Square, Francis said, "I am close to the people of Cuba and Florida who've been affected by a violent hurricane."
Sono vicino alle popolazioni di Cuba e della Florida.
The pontiff continued by asking the Lord to welcome the victims and give comfort and hope to all those who suffer. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey, for that information right there of what is going on inside of there with, of course, the Pope, because, we need to know these things. Anyways, with that being said, it is time to do that thing that we do now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, main story time as we get to hang out and talk and do all the fun stuff that is going on around here. With that being said, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to go into this thing, to this mammoth, as we are talking. Because here's where it's going to get the iggy wiggy in all this fine stuff. But, sometimes when you come off the weekend, you come into the Mondays and you have the people that are talking about the case of the Mondays. Or, everybody's living for the weekend. I'm sure you've heard that several thousand times before. But what happens on the days where you get up and you just don't want to do it? Like, you've done so much that you get flustered. And I don't know if everybody goes through this, but it just gets to the point where it's like, okay, do I want to do this once again? And this is where I get to the point again that I ask the question of, are you burnt out? That I get to the point that I go, do you need to take a day? And why do I say all these things? Because there are times where you need to take time away from what you do. Now, listen, recently I was hearing of someone who has been in their particular industry for the last 22 years. And that's what they eat, breathe, and sleep for the last 22 years. And they said, hey, listen, I need to take a pause for the cause. And I need to take time away from the industry. And even though it's not the industry that we're doing here, it is an industry that they said they're going to take a step back. And some people are like, what the hell are you doing? You don't take time away. You need to stick it out. Well, there are times where you get to a point and you go, I need time for me. And listen, I don't know after 22 years how much time you're supposed to take. I don't know after however many amount of time or how many years you've been doing something, you should take some time to yourself. And I'm not talking about vacations. Because listen, we can talk about vacations, and listen, vacations are great for some, but sometimes they're a whole other hassle of work when it's all tied together as well. So with that being said, I don't know what to tell you. At what point do you make the determination that it's time to take a break from what you're doing? At what time is it determination that you say, okay, I am going to break away? And I'm not quoting a Kelly Clarkson song here, but at times you have to sit back and go, I'm taking some time. So listen, I'll tell you, like next week in particular, and I'll talk about this. We have writers that are, that assist with the show here. And one of the groups said, hey, listen, we've been burnt out with everything going on with Ian, with everything that's going on here. We're going to take a week. Cool. And that's cool. And I think that when you sit back and you go, it's that moment in time to take a break, you take it. And as I look at it, I go, do you have the opportunity currently at your job that if you said, I need to break away, you can do that? Because listen, it is easier said than done at times, but it's also something that we need to give some consideración to, is can it be done? Can you leave if you need to leave, and is your job allowing you to do so? And what is the reality of the amount of time you can be gone? That is the other questions that I don't have the answers to. But it is something that we can talk about. It is something that we can address. But what is a good amount of time to be away? Maybe that is the stuff that we should consider going forward. So if I could ask, what are the things that you do when you need to take a break? I would love to hear your comments in some way, shape, or form. Maybe I read them or hear them, but something to think about in the long run of everything that is going on in this world right now.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute? When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
It's my kind of music.
I get the best mix of my favorite music.
All on one radio station.
Another wild ride is around the corner on Radio Big.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
This is just a chapter. One we'll read up after. When our lives have settled all the way down. Just let me know. Just let me know. It'll be okay.
Okay, there you go. 44 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out. Yes, 44 as we are coming to you live. Yeah, 44. So with that being said, 44 minutes past the top of the hour. This right here is Sean McVeary with Natalie. Songs readily available on Spotify and iTunes. You can take a little download to it, a little stream action afterwards. So that's what's going on. Thanks to Sean McVeary for allowing us to play this here. Then here is where it changes. You know, going a little old school style there. I like it. You know, a lot of stuff there. That's for sure. Go easy on that one. I like it. I like it a lot. Anyway, so let's get back into the move and the groove of things that we have going on, because it's always important for us to talk, hang out, and do all that kind of fun stuff. So I want to say this because apparently, you know, some people said issues at the beginning, and I try to be as realistic as possible. So We've changed some things in the studio, so I'm not sure if that played a factor into what the hell was going on. So we will make sure to get the potty yaddy up as soon as possible and see if we can get that corrected for you. So if you want to take a listen to the podcast, we normally have it drop by 10. We'll see if we can push it. If we can push it earlier today, just for the sake of doing so. So with that being said, let's talk real quick about the most important thing that I will tell you at any point in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Yeah, they can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you or your loved ones, and the best practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org, and that will get you moving and grooving inside of there with everything that's going on. That is for sure. With that being said, there is some things that I want you to also consider. You can also text them at the word talk to 988, or you can give them a call at 988. Listen, things become normal when we normalize them. And this topic of conversation should be something that we talk about all the time, not sometime, but all the time. If you're struggling, listen, it is something that Mental Health Day should exist. There should be mental awareness on things when we're struggling. There should be mental awareness on all the stuff that's going on. And if you are struggling with suicide or crisis, there's that number for you. That's 988. They're there to help at any time of the day or night that you need them. There is no doubt about that. Anyways, with that being said, let's talk a little bit more about some things that are happening inside of this world as we are talking. So, familiar story, bad news, moms and dads. If you're feeling the effects of inflation, your kids are too. Financial experts say that because of the increasing prices, children and teens should be seeing hikes in their allowances. Stats show that the average American kid enjoys a weekly stipend of $12.76 a week, with older teens averaging about $25. But if you decide not to give your kids the raise, it can be a teachable moment. Houston financial planner Jason McCrockra says that he's using the inflationary period to teach his 10 and 12-year-old daughters on how they have choices when the money that they have, and to show them that just because prices have gone up does not mean that they're getting an automatic raise. He says that both are making adjustments to their spending habits with at least until Father's Day, which I'm sure that will not be adjusted because they ain't doing shit for you. I'm so sure that my kids are getting a raise. After all, they have taken advantage of doing nothing from home now. So I guess that's something to look at. You know, here's the thing. I have never been a fan of allowances. And as we speak today, my oldest child does not get an allowance. They get the Dave Ramsey format of a commission. You do work inside the home, and we pay you. And depending on what you're doing, that's the amount of money that you get. If you do nothing, you get nothing. It's a pretty simple process. I take cash and I put it onto a board with magnets. And once something's done, the money can be removed, and then the money gets replenished. And if you don't do it and it's not up to par, well, guess what? We don't live and let live. I guess we live and let die is the way that that would work on that particular aspect.
Pop quiz hot shot. During a heat wave, what's more important, air conditioning or air guitar?
Is it air conditioning?
Air guitar. The answer is always air guitar.
Okay, so let's start talking right away about some of the things that are going on inside of this world, as you may want to know or care about or not care about or know about some things or not. But here is some new food news. New food news. Yes, new food news. Trying to say that relatively quick. Beginning today, McDonald's restaurants in the U.S. will start selling an adult Happy Meal, complete with free toy. The Cactus Plant Flea Market Box is a collaboration between Mickey D's and the famous streetwear. And it features either a Big Mac or a 10-piece chicken nugget, as well as a soda and fries. Inside will also be a collectible 4 figurines of McDonald's, of the mascot of Grimace, the Hamburglar, Birdie, as well as Cactus Buddy. The meals will be available through October the 30th as a parent of 4 to be a meal, not a McDonald's is a Happy Meal. So there you go. You know, I mean, just something to think about. When you don't have to go there, maybe it's a good thing for you. I don't know. I'm just saying. Also, Spam is cool again. The 85-year-old canned block of meat has undergone a cultural reinvention. Manufacturer's Hormel has sold a record amount for 7 years straight. In 2022, it was on the pace for another milestone. Spam is trending ingredient on TikTok, on menus, and on fine dining restaurants. Why? How? Spam popularity in Hawaii, Asia, and the Pacific Islands cuisine has influenced its growth. As well as immigrants arrived in the U.S., the ethnic cuisines entered the mainstream. The slab of cooked pork that has long been stigmatized with fake meat has spiked in popularity. Edgy ad campaigns has also affected the broader customer range and baby boomers who grew up eating sometimes the stuff. What's more, according to Robert Koo, an associate professor at Asian and Asian American Studies at a university in Birmingham, a lot of celebrity chefs have been Asian and Asian American and reintroduced Spam to new audience. They also tried e-marketing, but for some, no one reads their emails. So there you go. I mean, I don't know. I used to have Spam when I was a kid. I didn't think it was terrible then. I mean, I haven't had it in years at this point, and I don't really think that I would find it terrible now. But that's just me. But everybody has their own likey-likies on the things that they want and the things that they don't want. So stuff to think about. There you go. Anyways, let's see. 52 minutes past the top of the hour. I think it is time to bring in some John Small again and let him talk about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Larry. Erica Zhang said, "You take your life in your own hands, and what happens? A terrible thing? No one is to blame." So true. I just had a discussion with a dear friend who was complaining about how hard his latest project was. I reminded him that there were easier ways to do the project, but he was being a little stubborn because he likes things a certain way. So he's doing things his way, which takes about twice as long. That's fine, but then he really shouldn't complain that it's taking too long. That's 100% his fault. I love the guy, and the project will be amazing when it's done, but he's going to have to wait just a little bit for it to be there. This is today's Motivation Minute. It's courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. Caffeine is the most well-known component in coffee, but it contains more than 100 biologically active components, including many polyphenols. The benefits on longevity and lower risks of cardiovascular disease, the number one killer in most developed countries, were found in decaf coffee, which does not contain much caffeine. But the caffeine has a surprising benefit. Ground in instant coffee, but not decaffeinated, was associated with an up to 17% reduction in arrhythmias, including arterial fibrillation compared with non-coffee drinkers. In a study including almost 450,000 adults, drinking 2 to 3 cups of coffee per day was linked to a 27% lower all-cause mortality. In other words, dying from all non-accidental causes. For more information, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, that seems to be the story of my life, for sure. Anyways, 54 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out. Hanging out. So let's talk about this because I think it is important to do this in regards to talking. So I got a few things to talk about. Gavin Escobar has died. The former Dallas Cowboy player passed away in a rock climbing accident in California last Wednesday. He was 31 years of age at his passing. Also, another death that happened within the last week. Take a listen to this. Antonio Inoki has died. The professional wrestler who famously took on Muhammad Ali in a mixed rules match passed away from apparent heart failure on Saturday at his home in Japan. He had been battling health issues for years, leaving him confined to a wheelchair. No official cause for his death has been revealed. He was 79 at the time of his passing. That's terrible news to hear in regards, of anybody passing, but just one of those things that we need to talk about because of what he had done for the professional wrestling industry. Also, no winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tuesday night's drawing will be for $380 million jackpot or $198.4 million cash payout. No winner for Saturday night's Powerball drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $336 million jackpot or $176.7 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, I guess it is time to do so as we are talking. We talked about this briefly last week, but Trevor Noah is leaving the Daily Show on Comedy Central. He made the announcement last week telling viewers that his last 7-year tenure is coming to an end. A CC insider told TMZ that Noah's exit has to do with his schedule. It is unknown when he is leaving the show. Oh, I thought it was like he was just left after he said it. Now that they were going to build it out, but hey, whatever works for him and his, and whatever the hell else he has going on. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today real quick before we get you the hell out of here. Let's see. Alicia Van Klaar turns 34. Ashley Simpson, 38. Jessica Parker Kennedy, 38. Teresa Thompson turns 39. John Morrison turns 43. Sean William Scott, Stifler, turns 46 today. Nev Campbell, 49. Kevin Richards, 51. Gwen Stefani, 53. Tommy Lee, 60. Al Sharpton, has no age listed there. And Chubby Checker turns 81 today, just for the sake of talking about it. If you're looking at some dates of the year to celebrate, I have some of those for you. It's National Boyfriend Day, World Architecture Day, National Techies Day, World Day of Building Prevention, Virus Appreciation Day, and World Habitat Day. Yeah, Habitat Day. So some stuff to talk about as we are talking. Anyways, with that being said, let's take a look around at some other things. If you need a random joke for today, I do have one of those for you. So take a listen. This is what it would sound like. The problem with living alone is that I'm always my turn to do the dishes. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. Describe your biggest screw up in the kitchen. Oh boy, that's a mixed bag there to answer to. And his question: 13% of us have done this at some point in our driving career. What is it? Driven off without replacing the gas cap. So there you go. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on Radio Big and Safety FM. Like I said, we'll have the podcast version up here in just a tiny little bit. That way you can get whatever the hell was missing from the beginning, which I think the radio version seemed to be fine because nobody said anything about the radio version. So just a little FYI there, little FYI-ness. So with that being said, that's going to bring our show to an end. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to RadioBig.fm to hang out for the next couple of hours or so to do some music stuff. So if you want to come over there and hang out, you're more than welcome on doing that. Outside of that, you can find us on the iHeartRadio app. Or you could actually, go to the Radio Big app. If you want to hang out here on Safety FM, you're more than welcome on doing that as well. Sheldon Primus will be coming up next with the Safety Consultant Show, podcast, whatever the hell he wants to call it, shortly right after this one. So that's what's going on. So thanks for hanging out this morning. I do appreciate it. Hopefully everything will go copacetic going forward. So thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. If I can't leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. Without ambition, one starts nothing. Without work, one finishes nothing. The prize will not be sent to you. You have to win it. Think about it. Be in it to win it. That is for sure. Anyways, thank you for taking a listen. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.